Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the video on installing Linux Mint on your laptop. Yesterday we went through a mock install using a virtual box to do so, but today I want to take a look at the things you need to do after you make your first login to the system. Right? Because there are things that you'll have to do. Now, as I said, in the previous video, you will have that nag screen comes up. This is welcome to Linux and all of that type of stuff. And actually, let's just see here if I still have that thing available to me. Welcome screen. Yeah, here we go. As we take a look at the welcome screen, when you first log in, you will get this welcome screen here. Welcome to Linux Mint. Now, I have it disabled for obvious reasons. I don't need it anymore. First steps, right? System snapshots. Windows has its Windows restore points. Now I always had them turned off because I'm a techie. I don't worry about it. I could go in and edit the registry and all that type of stuff. I was never really worried about that. But it is a good idea, and I have it on in this because it's not intrusive at all. Take system snapshots. When you launch the here we go. When you launch the system snapshot thing, and of course this is an administrative function, so you need a password to get into it. You will see here that it is taking a total of 6 snapshots. Now, I upgraded from 19.1 to 19.2 back in August, and I still have this particular one sitting here right now. I don't need that. I'm going to delete that. Right, because it just simply is not needed. I'm not going to go back and reinstall the configuration from a snapshot that old. Now this thing is set up to take 5 snapshots on a daily basis, and then the oldest one is deleted when the new one is taken. You could set that for whatever you like. It is highly configurable. Right? You can see here it's going through and deleting everything. Don't mind me, I'm drinking a tea while we're doing this. As I'm doing this, it's 4 a.m., so I get my day starts very early in the morning because of the things that I do. I need to be able to talk to people all around the world, and this just makes it a lot easier. And as you can see, we've got about 20 seconds or so remaining, and then this particular snapshot will be gone. Now this whole system works very much the same as the system restore points in Windows does, and for the amount of hard drive space you're going to take up, you definitely want to do this. But what you can also do is limit it to a certain number. Right? If you're short on hard drive space, limit it to 3 or 4. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have 30 of them on there. Windows tends to get very piggy, and you will notice over time that you will have so many system restore points you start to run out of hard drive space. That won't happen in Linux. You can set this to do things however you need to do them. Right? And it's the fact that it's so configurable that makes me so love it so much. Right? Of course, you got a learning curve here, but hey, learning curves are fun, especially today. People need to learn things, and learn things with hands-on, not learn things based on, oh, I saw this ad and now I'm an expert. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And the wonderful thing about the Linux community, Linux Mint community, is they're very open to new people. They're more than happy to answer your questions and help you out. There are other Linux communities that are notorious for the people in them being assholish and snobbish, but that is starting to go away across the board. As an example, if you install Arch Linux and you've got a dumb question, you're going to get the go read the effing manual comment from it. You won't get that in Mint with that community, because they are trying to promote Linux for desktop use. And I always love, mind you, Linux is the same as Windows when it comes to it can't time itself for anything. That's okay. You kind of get used to that. Now, okay, come on. We've had 0 remaining for a while here. Well, I'll hide this. We don't really need to watch this anymore. But you can see here, I've got 5 snapshots. and we're good to go. So if I needed to reinstall one, I would click on it, and whatever the date is, I go to the restore point, and it would be all set. I'm not going to go through that because I don't need to restore anything. Okay. Next is the driver manager. Now this comes greatly in handy if you have the need for proprietary drivers. I do not. The kernel and Mint contained all the drivers I need, so when I launch this thing, I get nothing because I'm not using any proprietary drivers at all. Right? Update Manager. Now, when I click the Update Manager, you'll see in the bottom here where my icon is, it just disappeared, but that's okay. I have updates, and I left these updates to do this video. Okay? So here is an example. I have 2 updates that are good to go today. Now, unlike in Windows, OS 2, Linux tells you exactly what the updates are. So I click the install for the updates. It's going to ask me for my password. Okay. Type in my super secret password as it was. It's going to go hit the repositories. It's going to download it, and then it's going to install it. You guys can watch that process. I'm not going to click for the download because it happens very quickly. Here's the install going on here. You can watch it. Pull that up a little bit here, telling you exactly what it's doing. Okay. And if there's any errors upon install, it will tell you. But it's very, very rare. I've only encountered actually one error ever updating anything, and I just rebooted my system and did it again, and everything was fine. Because unless you're getting into funky software, which most of you won't be, you're not going to have an issue. Okay, so now my system is completely up to date. I'm going to get the check mark, and no reboot is required. Now, we've got the desktop layout, and this will explain to you how you can customize your desktop and help you with whether you want small panels or large panels, all sorts of things. Now, I've got the traditional panel on. I prefer the smaller panel. And then we've got a launch here for system settings. And here we go. Here is the place where you can go through and you can customize all sorts of different things. And once again, here's your driver manager again, as it was before here. Right? Just go into here. I did it wrong. I actually have so many passwords and it's not even funny, and I do remember a great number of them. Now it's going to update the cache here because I don't open this very often. I do occasionally just in case something has been being offered, but it's typically not going to be the case for my particular laptop. As I have a Toshiba satellite, and it's not built for Linux, but it's built for Linux. It was the most seamless install I've ever had for an operating system on this one, and that was wonderful. Now there is quite a long list that gets loaded into this cache file here, most of which is simply a waste of hard drive space for me, but at the same token, it doesn't take up enough that I care. Right? I'm running what am I running here? About 300 gigabytes of hard drive space, something like that. Now it's done here. It's going to give me a message shortly telling me there's nothing to do, which is cool because there's just nothing to do. Now this type of stuff does not run super fast because you are talking to other systems here. Depends on them as well. No proprietary software in use, right? Drivers in use. So there, as you can see, is the reason why I don't ever use this thing. Next, we have the software manager. Now, as it says in this, with Linux Mint, there's about 60,000 different applications that you can get in here without having to go look for anything on the internet, and that is a wonderful feature. And this is nothing like that horrible Windows Store. Because first off, it doesn't put anything on your system like the Windows Store does. However, all of the stuff that is bundled with Mint is in here as well. So it's very, very easy to remove it. If you, as an example, if you did not want LibreOffice, you can just go in here, type in LibreOffice, right? And it will go through and it will search the repositories for this, which takes a second because you are searching online at this point in time. You're not searching on your hard drive, which of course would be much, much quicker. And you can see LibreOffice Writer is installed here. And I have the option to remove it right here, which just makes life very, very easy. But any piece of software that you're looking for, you're pretty much going to find here. For the average person, you will never have to go anywhere beyond this to find software that you need. Now, if you're like me, you're going to be all over the place for different things, right? Which is okay. Okay, so that is the software manager. And finally on this particular list is the firewall, which I have mentioned before, but we will go through this part again because it's important. Okay. And here we go, we pop up. This is deactivated by default. Okay, you have to go in here and activate it. And for me, it's activated. I'm on the home profile. It gives you 3 profiles, home, office, and public. The only thing that it does is it's the exact same for all 3 profiles. You can create new profiles too, right? But the settings are pretty much always going to be the same. Now you do have rules, you do have logs and reports and things like that. Now if you're into gaming and things, this starts to become a little bit more important. But for the average person, I'm not a gamer, so I don't end up doing port forwarding and things. For the average person, you turn it on, deny incoming, allow outgoing, and your firewall is set, and that's it. Now, as you can see, we're through with this right here. You've got documentation. The documentation is fantastic. Lists of new features for updates, release notes, things like that. Help, take you right to the web forums. There's an IRC chat. And the IRC chat is hex chat over here. It's actually pretty darn good. I've used it a couple of times to find answer questions if I was in a hurry. I'm not much of a chat person, but I do like that. There's also several other Linux chats around that come from YouTube channels that are also pretty darn good. So that's it for the basic setup of Linux. Now, as you get to here, you're pretty much good to go. You want to work to install your VPN, and you're going to do that. Obviously, that's one of the things you're going to go to the outside world for. OpenVPN is installed automatically on this system, and all you need to do is get the account and the configuration files in order to set yourself up, and then you're good to go with that. Right. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and share this information with your friends. There's some great Linux channels out, and I'm going to be talking about those in the future. But a lot of the stuff that's out there, even the guys that say they're for the newbies, really aren't for the newbies. Right? Now, it is true. There's a fantastic Linux channel I enjoy greatly. It's called Switch to Linux. And this gentleman, talk about knowing his stuff, man. He's got some great tutorials. And he talks about being for the newbies. But talking about being for the newbies for Linux, he's assuming that the channel sort of assumes that you're good at computers, being in Windows and you want to switch. Right? Whereas this channel is assuming that you don't really know anything about anything when it comes to computers, but you want to learn and you want to take your privacy and security into your own hands, and that's why we're making the switch to Linux, right? But also definitely check out these other guys' channels. I'm going to do a feature on these guys' channels at some point in time because I watch them. They're fantastic. Have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Ciao.